So, yes, we're doing a debate. We're just going to see how this goes. If this goes well, I might do more. So, we have two people debating. One is debating that Pyra Mythra is arguably the best in the game, which is Riddles. And then we have Charliedaking, who is debating that Pyra Mythra is not the best in the game, but he also thinks that Pyra Mythra is high tier. Let's get into it. We're going to have 3 rounds. Basically, we're going to have both of them do like an opening statement. We're going to have both of them start discussing with each other, and then we'll have them both do closing statements. So for the opening statement, we're going to have Charlie start off his opinion of Pyra Mythra, or why he thinks Pyra Mythra isn't that good.
Okay, let me amend what you said a little bit. I think they're probably top tier, maybe in the middle or low top tier. I think they're a little bit overrated, maybe even massively overrated when it comes to people saying they're like the contender for number 1 or just straight up number 1. I don't think that's possible at all. I think they could be top 10, they could be top 7, maybe top 5, right? Because I do see the merit in their juggling game, and they're neutral, they're less trapping, etc., right? But I think there isn't things they can do but other characters can't match or do better than them. I think what they excel in is their juggle game, and that's the best thing they have. And then everything else is like pretty tame for what you see in this game. I think their Mythra especially, I think her lackluster on shield values and her linearity in neutral a little bit. I know she's fast, but you almost always know what she's gonna do. If you stay out of her range and don't get air to air by her, and you're very aware of how mediocre her stuff is on shield, it's pretty easy to punish her out of shield, or at the very least escape her pressure with a lot of time to like not get pressured afterwards. Because for example, a lot of characters will hit you in this game and their things will be -4, -5, -2, etc. So even if you try to escape, you have a lot of time to cover your defensive option. With Mythra especially, her landing aerials and even her tilts up close, they're like -10 plus usually. So a lot of characters can just straight up punch them, even from like a longer range if they have like a ranged move, or they just escape and they reset neutral. And then neutral versus isn't too difficult, especially when she switches to Pyra, who has better on shield, and bigger hitboxes as well, but she's much slower and she's not really killing you early unless she's going for something like a dare, unless she lands like a dare up smash or just reads your ability with an F smash. I think they kill you at pretty tame percents if you're being smart, and they're consistently edge guardable, which is something that doesn't happen often in this game. Like there's characters like Cloud and Wolf who are gimpable. Because of how strong their recovery mix-ups are, you have to like read how they're going to recover. You can't really react consistently. But with Pyra and Mythra, you can cover one option and then react to it. And then they can't really mix you up on the spot unless you position yourself poorly. Once like you can cover the side B, or like an air dodge to ledge, and then once that's out of the picture, you have plenty of time to cover the up B with a 2-frame or a drop down nair. You have a lot more time to react than you would versus someone like Wolf with the side B up B mix up, or Cloud who has like just a very fast up B and then limit on top of it. And his ledge snap is better. Or just other characters in general who, like, I think the only other character that I can think of that gets consistently gimped like Pyra and Mythra, who's like pretty good, is Chrom, right? He's a lot more reactable and easy to cover. So, in conclusion, I think they get consistently edge guarded. Like it's very common to see them die even at top level multiple times per set. It's a lot more reactable than other bad recoveries. I think their recovery is like a tier worse than the average bad recovery in this game. Their neutral is really good, their juggling is really good, but I think their shield pressure holds them back. And I think Pyra in particular, when it comes to landing kills, is going to be killing you at like high percents mostly, unless you make a huge mistake. And that's why I don't think they can be number 1 with characters like there's other characters with Rob, Roy, and then other people, Joker's mobility, Rob and Roy's combination of pressure and power. Like Pyra Mythra don't have that pressure and that power, right? They just have like good coverage and good neutral, but up close the pressure isn't that good. And yeah, so that's why I think they can't be number 1 whatsoever. Probably a good top tier. I've amended my high tier because I've played them and fought them a lot more, and I understand. Okay, clearly a damn good character, probably somewhere in top tier. I think they're middle of top tier, maybe low top tier if people get really good versus them, because at the same time, I think people are kind of bad versus them even at the top level right now. Not contender for number 1 whatsoever. Definitely a strong character still, but No way can they be number one, in my opinion.
That was much longer than I was expecting it to be, but Charlie was indeed spitting. We'll have Riddles go on and do his opening statements.
Yeah, I said you brought the whole library, dude. What the
Yeah, I did.
You actually just brought the whole library. Basically, your points were the linearity, shield pressure, edge guard ability, and as well as like they do things that other characters like do better. I think Aegis is the best character in the game because I personally think that no other character has as many options to cover specific scenarios as much as they do, with the amount of ease that they do on average for like the entire skill for almost all skill levels of the game. Aegis is the one that it brings the most options for anybody to play with. There's a lot of characters in this game that in theory are the best, but Aegis are the ones that give the most options towards like everybody. Anybody can do their options and anybody can cover any scenario. I disagree with a lot of the points that Charliedaking like in the opening statement. I think that her recovery is not as edge guardable as you think, because I think that there is a lot of mix-ups that they can do actually with the down B and air acceleration. Did you know that Pyra has the same air acceleration as Joker? Yeah, I bet you didn't know that. Most people don't know that Pyra has that much air acceleration. The same as Mythra, I guess. I also think her matchup chart is the best out of like almost anybody in the game. I can't theorize like a single matchup that's like super losing and it's like impossible to win. I know you can say that with other characters as well, but I'd say it's not the same. Like, let's say like there are two other contenders for the best character in the game. What? Pikachu, Joker. Joker has like some tough matchups with like the rats and whatnot. Probably some other characters as well. Like he goes like some even with some top tiers as well. Pikachu has like his own slew of reasons, I think, in terms of like his difficulty of why people are not playing him that often. Because realistically, Pikachu should be a lot more common of a character. Those two characters should be a lot more common, but they're not because of the difficulty. That's the fact. Their execution is like above what Aegis has. Aegis has very little execution. Anybody can pick up and play her. The thing is, even at top level, I think the fact that they're really easy and that good is a huge thing. Huge thing. Because many characters are like they require a step. I think Aegis doesn't require a step that a lot of characters need to have, or a lot of top tiers have. I definitely disagree with how you say how like easy it is to counterplay her. Because let's flip the arguments on its head. How easy is it for every character to apply that counterplay that you're describing? How easy is it for anybody to like say, sure, you say it's predictable, but how easy is it for the average character in this game to actually counterplay her? Even if it is simple, with the amount of tools that they have. So yeah, overall, I think that the amount of tools plus easy execution for like almost every level makes her the best character in the game. And it's literally like the counterplay is not as easy as the thing. It's a perfect example of like easier said than done.
So from what I'm seeing from both of them, I guess I'll just try to summarize both of their arguments. For Charlie, it seems like he's saying that they're overrated because there's a lot of stuff that people are just doing consistently yet. Like he thinks they are very edge guardable. He's saying that like their neutral and stuff, when compared to other characters, just don't match up as much as people seem to think. And for that reason, among others, he thinks that the character is overrated. He thinks they're good, but just not like the best, or arguably the best. For Riddles, he's saying that their combination of simplicity along with their matchup chart makes them incredibly strong. He thinks that overall they have the best matchup ratio in the game, or like, the best matchup chart in the game. And he also disagrees with Charlie's argument about them being very edge guardable. He thinks that they're simplistic, but there's a lot the character can do. They're just not as easy to combat as Charlie's making it sound.
I just did the argument, I guess. So I guess you can argue my counter argument.
Yeah, what you said. All right. I've talked about this with Void. When it comes to the execution of a character and how much that matters to determine their tier, the difficulty of a character's execution at the top is like the highest level, does not matter when it comes to how good the character is, because at top level everyone should be executing correctly, like well with their character. Everyone should be like Sheik should be executing just as well, like, or just as consistently as like just no matter how difficult her stuff is, and that's what it's demonstrable. We've seen this like Void, who's able to execute such difficult things consistently with Sheik. So I think at the top level, execution for how good a character is doesn't matter for their tier placement. How easy or difficult a character is to learn or execute with shouldn't determine their tier, in my opinion. When it comes to they have the most options to cover in all situations. You didn't really elaborate on that. You just kind of said, okay, they have the most options. How do they have the most options?
Well, okay, let's say edge guarding. Mythra has one of the best edge guardings. Pyra and Mythra have basically edge guarding for every single scenario. Mythra up B, Pyra down air spike. Pyra combined with its air acceleration forward air, edge guardable. Insane, right? I think that their edge guarding is crazy.
Pretty good edge guarding. I wouldn't say every option.
Like what? Give me an example.
I think there are. I mean, are you saying when it comes to edge guarding, they're the best, or they have just really good edge guarding?
They're not the best, but they have really good edge guarding combined with a lot of other things.
Are you saying combined with stuff like their juggling, their landing catches, and their ledge?
Yeah. Well, that neutral, I'd say their overall versatility, like everything combined, basically. They also have one of the best ledge trapping in the game because Mythra has insane mobility, can cover almost. On reaction can basically cover every single option. Well, I guess jump is always a preemptive thing. Jump is always preemptive. You can't react to it. But Nair perfectly covers that long lasting hitbox, and you can't like super react if you're on the opposing side. Of course, every other like let's get up option is completely reactable because Mythra has insane mobility, insane frame data.
I would argue I think you should a lot of characters that match that ledge trapping and are even more consistent and will kill you more consistently off those ledge traps. I think there are characters like Wolf, for example. Okay, obviously I'm going to mention him to play him, right? I think his ledge trapping is better and more consistent just because he can throw out moves that cover more options and still have time to react afterwards. Mythra can do the same, but say she jump up airs, sometimes it's hard for her to catch like a get up if she commits to it too early. And you can say that for a lot of characters as well. But I think because of how moves are very quick when it comes to Mythra, so when say you jump and want to land on top of her and she up tilts early, it's really easy to kind of like mix her up and then so fast fall, then I'll double jump, up tilt the air, and then I can just land. Or a lot of characters can land. Obviously this doesn't apply to everybody. Some characters will get juggled a lot more than others. I think Pyra and Mythra will have more polarizing matchups because of how good their juggling is, but I think against the other top tiers, I don't think it's anything crazy for the most part, because they're going to juggle you a little bit more than most, but they probably won't kill you off of it unless you rush your landing or they condition you really well, which can just be said for most characters with good ability on the ground and good juggling.
So basically you're saying that against the top tiers, they wouldn't cover as much options at the ledge.
Yes. I mean, they're not covering anything that the other top tiers can't also cover in those spots. And they're, for the most part, right? Sometimes they're going to juggle you for a little longer.
Well, I don't think, maybe Wolf is better. Wolf has like what, definitely like top 3 or top 2 ledge trapping, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely. I wasn't really arguing. Wasn't really arguing that they're the best, but I think that they are top tier ledge trapping. I'd say it's better than like a handful of the top tiers actually, because just of how much mobility. Of course, I'd say I think you said they can't cover like the juggle options and whatnot, or they can't cover. They can't. It's just difficult, right?
To mix them up. It's not difficult for everybody. It's not too difficult to like mix them up, have her swing early and then land afterwards. A lot of characters can swing early, but their moves will last for longer. So like, let's say Rob tries to catch your landing with Nair, and you land anywhere near him, it'll last like longer. Same with his up tilt, but you have to land like directly on top of him. He can also act quicker out of it than Mythra, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's also way harder to trade with Rob's up tilt. A lot of the time, I think it's easier to trade with Mythra if you just if you're constantly mixing up the timing of your landings. Trading with her isn't too difficult. And if you mix up between landing away from her, going for trades with timing mix-ups, and then just drifting in the air, if you mix up between those three, and of course, just general timing mix-ups, she's not going to keep you in the air for as long as she'd like. Also, how is she going to kill you?
How's she going to kill you? It's not the matter of killing. It's the matter of keeping you on ledge and in the disadvantaged state for a very long time. In my opinion, I think that's what ledge trapping, I'm pretty sure, quote, Tweak, I think he said one time that he thinks of ledge trapping as not as something to like kill people with, but to like always just keep you in the corner pressure. And I think Pyra Mythra has one of the best corner pressures. I know you said it's easy to mix her up. The top level, I disagree. I feel like there's plenty of smart players that can combat that mix up and like think ahead. For example, Leo and Spargo, in my opinion, they have amazing ledge trapping and can keep you in the corner absolutely forever. They can cover almost every option. So I think personally, it kind of goes back to the execution statement of how like, you can like kind of evade her predictability. But in my opinion, I'd say in the hands of someone who has that execution, that thoughtfulness like process, who knows what your mix-ups are, Pyra Mythra can like perfectly combat those things in my opinion. And you can see it in Spargle or Leo's gameplay. Saying that you can like mix them up super often, I don't think that's even true, because in my opinion, at the top level, Leo and Spargle, for example, if the Aegis player can think ahead a lot of the time, they can cover your option almost like immediately, in my opinion. And you can see it, you can see it in like a lot of the gameplay. I don't
players to think ahead. Oh, that's not.
I don't think it's like the. I don't think it's even the same with like other characters in my opinion. Considering that I don't see like as many wolves keeping their, or like maybe not wolf, but like other top tiers. I'd say maybe not wolf, but like other top tiers. Okay.
Yeah.
Other top tiers. I don't see as many other top tiers that consistently, in my opinion, keeps them cornered with the amount of ease that they provide. And if you combine that amount of ease with like a top player, they can just cover like options immediately, in my opinion.
Let me go ahead and address some of that. I think, yes, the character is incredibly good at covering options, especially in the corner. They keep you in the corner for a long time. They let's trap you for a long time. Now, I will say, I do think when it comes to most of the top tiers in this game, I think in the like at top level in the right hands, I think everyone gets let's trapped about the same. Like Leo Spargo, right? If Leo and Spargo are playing, let's say they both decide to play Lucina, right? I think they'll keep you in the corner just as consistently as they do with Pyra and Mythra. In fact, if they mistime their traps, which people will, like, it's inevitable, right? Especially if people are mixing up getups well. If they mistime their less traps, less prone to getting punished a lot of the time if they're other characters, especially if they're using Mythra. Because Mythra's more prone to getting punished on like mistiming down tilt, up tilt, landing aerials, etc. Because there's shield pressure up close. It's horrible. Even not up close, you have a lot of time to just act right away. If you down tilt, you can jump right away, roll right away if you don't want to punish her, that is. And you have a lot more time to escape her pressure compared to a character like Lucina. If she down tilts or F tilts you, her F tilt's like -13 actually, but down tilt's like -9. We have characters like Rob who want to less trap you with Nair, down tilt, gyro. Those are a lot more safe even when they're mistimed. Characters like Roy, same thing. And when it comes to Joker, he's a lot more evasive than that. So he has like drift back gun to catch their get-ups or their ledge grabs into ledge traps with his like mobility. He's not gonna cover as much space as Norsen, and you're screwed. He's not gonna cover as much space as them, but I think he can react just as fast as them. I think most of the top tiers, when it comes to keeping you in the corner, have a little bit worse, if not equal, if not better, depending on the character. I think corner pressure, especially like for example, a character that I think is actually better than them and who I have a very high opinion of, Cloud, for example. I think he juggles just as good as them. I think his mobility.
I've seen your takes on Cloud.
Yeah. I think he juggles better than them because he is faster on the ground and his air mobility is more precise than both of them. And his aerials are bigger and better on shield, like on whiff and on shield and on hit. He gets ridiculous combos off of like his landing back here. I think he juggles just as consistently. I think he's better at catching landings and he has better 2-frame options than them. So his dash attack 2 frames consistently, down air 2 frames consistently, slash untechable neutral B to 2-frame from far away or to hit their ledge hang from far away. He is a lot better at pressuring neutral get up and jump. So not only can he punish them, like true punish them consistently, but on whiff, it's still like really good pressure. Meanwhile, Pyra and Mythra on whiff. Pyra, if she's spaced really well, her pressure is almost equal, but because of how far away she'll be when she's spaced, you have a little bit more room to work with when you're getting out of the corner versus her compared to other characters. I heavily value up close pressure in this game. Like, -4s, -3s, moves that are really good on whiff and really good on shield and really good on hit. When it comes to Mythra, she doesn't have those really good on shield. Pyra kind of does, because F tilt -9, giant hitbox, so that's like different. But at the same time, when she's throwing it out, she's spaced so far away from the ledge that, again, like I said earlier, you have a lot more room to work with when getting out of the ledge. It's more of like when getting off the ledge or getting out of the corner, it's more of a mix-up / read she has to do to actually keep you there when she's Pyra. Versus other characters who just get good pressure off whiffing, landing bear on shield and corner, -4. What are you gonna do, right? Like in that spot, they can stuff you out of an option and cover multiple things just by pressing an immediate button afterwards. When Pyra and Mythra can't really do that, they have to read you afterwards. They have to read your jump. They have to read your dash. When a lot of people can just straight up hit you out of your jump squat, hit you out of your shield drop, hit you out of the option you pick. And when they don't, they still have ample time to punish your movement afterwards, jump, dash, etc. To conclude everything I just said, I think their corner pressure isn't as good as characters with better on shield values than them and better frame data in general. People might see Mythra and say she has really good frame data because her moves start up really fast, and that is true. But her I think on whiff, on shield, they're very unsafe compared to the others, and that is a huge deal, especially in the corner, because if they mistime their option, which it isn't any easier or harder for them to strap for the most part compared to the other top tiers like Joker, Wolf, etc. So because the moves are unsafe, when they are mistimed, it's a lot easier to get past them in the corner compared to other characters.
So first of all, I heavily disagree with the statement of how saying that Cloud has better juggle capability than Pyra. Like, Cloud is really good. I fought Sparkle before. He has amazing... I fought Sparkle and Cola Clouds, you know, amazing juggles. But when I fight them, it usually goes like this. The process goes like this. They get an up air at the platform, right? They up air like 3 or 4 times, maybe covered another up air with like a landing option, and then it's over. It's over from there. Most of the time, it's over from there, because at that point you can mix up your if you can mix up Cloud, in my opinion, way easier than Pyra. And from there, let's look at Pyra juggling. Let's start with Mythra. Usually it starts from a down tilt, up tilt, up air, back air, up B. Okay, cool. You're in that position. Let's try to land, right? I don't think Cloud covers landings like better than Mythra whatsoever. There's just no way, considering how fast the ground mobility of Mythra. They have up tilt, huge anti-air, they have up air, and like they have combo starters that start all of their juggles in the first place. It's way easier to get the juggle and to like keep going because they have the frame data. I know you said the fact that her main issue, I think you said, is the fact that a lot of her moves are kind of unsafe. I think you're heavily underweighing the fact that all of the moves are like less than 10 frames of startup. What, down tilt is frame 5, up tilt is frame 7. You know how like ridiculous that is? That's like really crazy. And not a lot of characters have that. And the fact that you can have those options in the first place, like sure, down tilt is -11, up tilt is is -14. Sure, that might seem bad on paper, but for every single tilt starts a juggle from Mythra. 4 tilt starts 4 tilt, dash attack. Down tilt, up air, back air, up B. Okay, up tilt, you know, you just start the same auto combo. I think you're heavily underweighing the fact that they have fast startup. The fact that it starts up that fast, I don't think there's any other character that like has the same like fast frame data that they do in terms of their combo starters. No other character has that type of option. And the fact that they're so fast, you can cover tons of options that people do on reaction with punish them. Gets super big punishes. I think that you're weighing the risk reward of the character way higher risk than it really is. Like sure, down tilt is -11, or like they're not like Mythra doesn't have the safest aerials, but like assuming that you space them and like use them accordingly, use them smartly, and the fact that you can get that much reward off of them with the amount of ease it is to get them in the first place because they start up so fast, I think you're weighing the risk reward kind of wrong. Because I know you value like like -2 aerials or something, but like Mythra, I don't think it even matters at that point because the fact that her frame data starts up so fast. How many characters are realistically going to react and punish accordingly? Not many characters. Like let's say, how many characters are going to punish a down tilt? -11, right? Sure, it's -11, but it's frame 5. Who's gonna? I don't think that's like, not many people are gonna react accordingly down to on shield and like honestly like punish her pressure a lot. So I think in my opinion, Charlie's like again, it goes back to the risk reward scenario. I think that he's weighing the risk reward a little bit skewed towards the risk because not a lot of characters in the game can punish those moves accordingly. Like honestly, realistically, if you only punish that if you have like a Cloud up B, like a Game & Watch up B. I don't think many characters can punish like her pressure as much as you think. And of course it goes back to Pyra. Sure, it's like literally the reverse. Or everything is like, you know, more safe, ridiculous pressure. I'd say Pyra, like I think your argument is right about Pyra. I don't think Pyra is like the big deal. I think it's Mythra personally, obviously.
True, Mythra is ridiculous.
Like they're good. They're like solid, but it's just a component of like, you know, what Mythra is. In my opinion, I think Mythra is the big deal. I think that the fact that they have that startup is like insane. Also, by the way, that combined with their air acceleration, combined with their ground mobility, allows them to like have insane juggle capability. Definitely more than Cloud, in my opinion. I think way more than. I think of their juggling way more than Cloud.
Because I don't want this to go on for too long. Just like on this particular topic, I was thinking let's move on to like another big argument you guys were having, which is their recovery.
So you said they have a lot of mix out of the recovery to stop you from edge guarding them.
To like add on to that, I think
Yeah.
let's go back to the top level argument. You know, let's value add at the top level, right?
Yeah.
Spargo does not get gimped as that much. Like, look at his gameplay and count how many times he realistically gets gimped. Spargo has one of the best mix-up capability of like a lot of top players, right? He's really good at mixing up the recovery combined with the air acceleration and down B. He uses a lot of down B because that switches like which character they use, air acceleration. It gives a lot of mix-up potential because you don't know when it's coming, and it's like it's quick, so you can't really punish it super immediately on command. There's a lot of ways to like make it safe.
There's still a lot of positions they get put in where they can't do anything compared to a lot of other.
There are, but like I think
lot.
I don't think that they're that much harder than like a lot of bad recoveries. Like
I disagree, just because compared to like the other top tiers, because like I can't think of another top tier at their level with their recovery.
Well, yeah, they have that recovery because of
it depends.
No,
it depends.
It depends on the scenario. Depends on the scenario.
But
I don't
for
know.
them, I think there's just so many like side B super reactable, up B super reactable. All you do is like cover the side B, and once they're out of range for the side, like you don't put yourself in a position where the side B can actually hit you. You don't want to commit too early. As long as you don't commit too early, it's not too difficult to cover both in most situations. Obviously, I'm not saying you're gonna die every time. And at top level, getting gimped at all is ridiculous. Like if it happens, especially if it happens like more than once, it's a pretty big deal. If you watch Top Level Wolf, there's some sets where he doesn't get gimped like at all. Same can go for Cloud. Same can go for what's a bad recovery? Fox is different because
Roy gets gimped all the time.
Yeah,
Roy gets gimped all the time. I think they have a better recovery than Roy.
Than Roy?
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Depends. I think it depends on the matchup.
I think they have a better recovery than Roy. I've been playing Roy for a couple weeks. There's a difference. And I've been looking at it. Cole is the same. Cole thinks that Roy's recovery is dog because of his linearity. Roy does not have anywhere near mix-up potential. I think you're underrating the mix-up potential, honestly. I'd say, yeah, sure, there's some scenarios that they can like just cover. A lot of characters could just cover immediately. But one thing I noticed is that Spargo doesn't really use side B that much. A lot of the time what he does is he like down B's low to the ground and Pyra up B's. Pyra up B when you're like near the ledge is basically impossible to get. A lot of the time, unless you like two frame or something like that, you know.
Right. But
Stuff.
there's a lot of situations where he can't get that. There's a lot of situations where he gets knocked off stage and he can't get that close in the first place, and that happens a lot at higher percents. Like you're not gonna kill them super early.
I don't know about that because Spargo generally he makes the back a lot. I don't think that scenario really comes up that often. He goes low to the point where like you can't really hit him that much a lot of the time.
I think at the very least, most characters can drop off and trade with it. Or a lot of characters can drop off and trade with it. And the two frame isn't that difficult to do on them either. The two frame is actually pretty they definitely have like a below average.
Yeah, it's possible, but like in my opinion, I don't think it's to the point where it's like, oh, this is such a big deal. In my opinion, compared to like
I think it's a huge deal.
That's crazy. The rest, it's like their main weakness, I'd say. It's definitely their biggest weakness.
I think it's
obviously,
one of their
right?
main weaknesses.
No, I think it's their biggest weakness, obviously, right? Like I still think it's their biggest weakness.
I with their shield pressure.
I think when you were off the hall, I said how like the shield pressure isn't like. I think I was making the argument to that when you were off the call, so you couldn't hear me.
I think you were dead.
I don't know.
I think you said that they can't react in time most of the time, but you have to be expecting it in the first place because that's all they're gonna do. It's not like you're in La La Land and then they down tilt you and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, but like the thing is, yeah, but like you may know it's coming, but what if you're playing against a good character and they mix up their options to grab? Or every other option, you know what I mean?
Shield either. You want to react to them, and you want to be close enough to get traded.
Wait, but you just said people are supposed to predict. So how are they gonna react?
No, you don't want to. You know? You're supposed to predict their movement. You're not like holding shield.
Okay.
You know what you're gonna do, but you're moving around.
Okay, I think that her mix-up potential is not as blatantly obvious as you make it out seem because of how much versatility a lot of the moves have.
It's more obvious than most of the characters with a bad recovery. A lot more. There's so many spots, especially at 9%, they get knocked off and they actually can't do anything. Like they only. There's so.
Well, okay. Are we talking about edge guarding?
Okay, you saw how quickly. What was it? Main stage, where Spargo was winning.
Okay, Spargo made the worst. Okay, Charlie. So Charlie, I saw that live. Okay, I saw that thing live. I know it was crazy, but Spargo made the worst the absolute worst jumping fully drift in air dodge onto the stage of all time.
That's
You know that.
true.
You know he made the worst, the absolute worst jumping air dodge onto the stage of all time. Literally.
The best of us. You're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just like, bro, you can't do that. You can't do that. That was definitely him just being like the most nervous. Like I would do that honestly.
right.
If I was in his position, I'd probably do it because I'm like, oh my
Okay,
god,
but let's talk
I'm gonna
about the
die.
position he got
That's
put
the
in
Leo
all of that,
factor.
right?
Yeah,
It's
I
the
know.
Leo
Yeah,
factor.
that is bad. Like that's why I think it's like one of his biggest weaknesses. But like then again, that was a really bad play.
They get put in that position. Like you don't have to do some horrible play to get put in that spot. You can get clipped by something on your way out. Like you can get hit out of a dash. You can get hit out of your down tilt on shield. You can get hit out of your up tilt on shield. Get knocked off stage in the worst spot imaginable, and have very limited options. That happens a lot when you're playing as them. It doesn't happen every time. It doesn't even. I wouldn't even say it happens half the time. It happens enough to where like they die. Like it's easy to. It's not easy.
Yeah,
I think it's easier to kill them than a lot of the characters. It's easier to deal with their pressure if you're actually focusing on their movement and you're not like over respecting them. Let's trap them, right? Especially as Pyra, because she has to switch to Mythra to land or get off the ledge most of the time, or else she'll be stuck there forever.
Wait, you said that they're easy to ledge trap. Yeah, let me go back to the point where you're talking about like the scenario of how easy it is to get like immediately edge guarded. I disagree. I personally think at the top level, I know it's inevitable. Like it's going to happen eventually, right? But
Inevitable.
I honestly, in my opinion, I think if you're smart, I think if you're smart, that's not gonna happen super often. In my honest opinion, and it really doesn't like Cosmos and like how many like sure it happens more to them than a lot of the other characters, but I think in my opinion a lot of the top Aegis players are smart enough to realize what gets them in that position in the first place, so they avoid it as much as possible. Obviously it's probably going to happen, right? Like eventually, but I don't think it's like as big of a deal, or like it's going to happen as much as most people, or as much as you think. What was you said something else after that? I forgot what it was. It was like
said it better myself. You said them getting edge guarded is inevitable. I
think it's one of his biggest. I think it's one of their biggest weaknesses. Obviously, it's like the only weakness they have, in my opinion.
Only weakness. What about?
In my opinion, let's go back to let's keep going. Let's keep going. You were talking about how their ledge trapping is bad. No, not the ledge trapping. Oh, how they get ledge trap bad. Doesn't Pyra literally kill you if you ledge trap wrong? Pyra literally kills you. Literally up B. How many times have you seen Spargo do go Pyra up B on the ledge, up B on the ledge, up B on the ledge? You missed the you whiff punted. You whiffed a move on the ledge. Fucking die. Because the up B is strong as
isn't like the regrab, like the
no, like yeah, the regrab. A lot of the time,
dude, suck it, dude.
and a lot of the people can't punish that.
You can't. A lot of people just don't. You can parry you can parry punish. You can just hit him out of the air when he does it. People over respect the hell out of it. People are so scared versus this character. It's unbelievable.
I don't know.
Land into them. And,
yeah, it's because if you mess up, you die. It's because you mess up, you.
If you're 50, you'll die.
If you get 150, no. It depends on the character, but probably earlier than that.
Up B doesn't even kill until like honest percents. It won't kill you early, especially across the stage where you're ledge trapping him. And in the first place, if you pull out a move, you can just beat it before it hits you. And if you're getting hit by that, what's wrong with you?
A lot of people get hit by it. I don't know, dude. I think a lot of the things that it's just said and done, bro. Again, I know there's counterplay, but like,
and I think it's heavily underutilized. I think even the top players don't utilize a lot of the counterplay in this game. People still DI her back air out, like they hold out and get bear up beat when they can hold in and get bear into nothing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
But like, they still get a huge juggle.
If they don't, I mean, they get a juggle. Okay, cool. They don't get their combo though, and they don't send you off stage either. You probably have to. You might have to reset to ledge, but it's better than doing out back air, F special on the platform. You hold in on all of those, and nothing happens. Everyone just holds autopilot DI out all the time for combos. Nobody deals with that upbeat correctly. Nobody parry punishes it. Nobody just rising aerials it. It's so easy to rising aerial and punish it. And if she regrabs, people preemptively. Yeah,
especially if you mess up, you die. A lot. It's the risk reward again.
At 150.
You don't die at 150. It's earlier than that. You know it's earlier than that.
If you hold down at the ledge there, I guarantee you with rage it won't kill you at 130, or without rage it won't kill you at 130. For most.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've seen it kill like a lot like earlier than that.
Not kill more often than it kills, I'm sure. unless like they're hitting it at 130 plus.
Yeah, but you still get put at a huge disadvantageous spot.
That is true.
You get into a huge disadvantageous spot, and the risk reward, again, the risk reward. You always go back to the risk reward. To pay the risk reward, that is kind of insane. You don't get nearly as much reward for trying to punish it as much as they do for punishing you for messing up.
There's nothing.
This is my opinion. There's nothing special about Pyra up here. There's nothing special about it. Okay, dude. Okay.
There's a million characters. It's first of all, it's frame 13 out of shield. Whoop-de-doo.
Okay.
There's a million characters in this game that will kill you for trying to last trap them. There's a trillion of them. There's so many characters that reversal the hell out of you when they come off the stage, and it's stronger than that. Like I don't see the be like this re-grab being like, oh, this is a reason for like one of the reasons why they're potential #1. There's nothing special about that.
Well, I'd say no. I was just counter arguing the point that you said that. I'm just counter arguing the point that they're super easy to less trap. I don't think they're that easy.
Okay, I think it's super easy. They're definitely less trappable.
Okay, I feel like we should probably just end it with the closing statements, because I feel like this is just like going back and forth.
Kind of going in circles.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I agree. No, I disagree. I disagree.
Yeah.
All right. Aegis are the best characters in the game because of the amount of versatility that they have. Their ease of I know you said that their ease of use is not like a valid argument, but why aren't there more Pikachus? Why aren't there way more Jokers than there should be? I think execution is definitely a factor, especially in tournament. Without a doubt. No, definitely in tournament. Because in tournament, if you have a high execution at a tournament level, that's going to hinder you a lot, actually. Especially, you know that. You know that it's going to hinder you a lot, without a doubt. Statistically, that's literally statistically. That's why causes Sora, a lot of these like high execution characters, a lot of them aren't going to see the light of day because of the tournament environment. The neutral juggling capability, combo ability, of course, throw game, absolutely amazing, right? They can cover you on the spot, on reaction. Mythra has insane frame data. Pyra has kill power, safe aerials. I think that their mix-up potential is not as bad as you think, because you can always flip the head. You can always be the smarter opponent. If you're the smarter opponent and you're playing as Aegis, there's not an option that you can't cover. You can react to them accordingly with punish, get huge, cover all of that, cover like tons of landing options. I think their recovery is not as big of a deal as it should be. Obviously, I still think it's their biggest weakness, actually. But I don't think it's as big of a deal as you make it out to be. I think their ledge trapping, of course, is ridiculous. I don't think they're like, they have like a weird disadvantage. Wait, I didn't even talk about foresight. I didn't even talk about foresight. What the I didn't even talk about foresight. I forget. There's so much bullshit in this character. I didn't even talk about foresight. What the There's foresight, 2 frame air dodge. No. You get killed. No. Remember when Sparkle did a cloud side B, limit on ledge, limit cloud side B at Smash World Tour, and he rolled past it, force smash, wins the game. Who in the cast can do that? Nobody. Not a single person. Not a single person can do that. Not a single person. No, you're lying. You can't parry punch. You cannot, in that situation, you cannot kill them. No. What cause was the? No, you cannot. Yeah, good luck parrying and like super consistently. No.
All right, I didn't
even talk about foresight. There's so much bullshit in this character. I forgot to talk about foresight.
All right. I think it's enough riddles. All right, Charlie.
Out of a roll, out of a spot dodge is incredible. In the air, most of the time, I swear to God, it's placebo. Because there's so many spots where neutral air dodge is gonna punish you just as hard as foresight will. How is that not true? So most of the time in this game, I think with neutral air dodge, will get you a punish just as like well as foresight does if you do it most of the time. I think there's obviously situations where it gives foresight's pretty like obviously it's really, but at the same time, if you play with it in mind, you can hard punish their air because they're more inclined to air dodge. That's a lot of hard punches that you get off of it. A lot of situations when you air dodge past someone and get a punish, you would have got a punish if you air dodge past them like just with a normal air dodge. In frame 2, like there's frame the Zero, Sheik, Wolf, Fox all have frame air dodges as well. And Fox especially gets like fast air dodge punishes. Besides Force, and you probably disagree and think that you get more hard punishes off Foresight, which you do sometimes, and it's true. I disagree about the recovery. I think the recovery is you. I mean, you said it yourself. It's inevitable that they get edge guarded. That's not even with characters with edge guardable recoveries. It's not like example. Who's a top tier with bad recovery? Wolf, Arsene, Joker. It's less inevitable with them and more possible. But you have a lot more timing mix-ups with them than you do with Pyra Mythra. They have the switch, but their path is very clear most of the time. You cover one, then cover the other because they don't have like a quick timing mix-up. And unless they do side B high and hit you with it, which That's your positioning. That's your positioning being poor for the in that spot. Obviously, sometimes you're gonna get a good mix up and hit you with it, but most of the time it's poor positioning. I think the on shield. I think their on shield values being as mediocre as they are a huge factor because that's a lot. Like you have to act. Okay, you said it yourself. You have to space with the character. I can't think of another character in this game you have to space with, to be honest. I can. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but there's a lot of characters in this game. Up close pressure, like, is the name of the game. They time low aerials or even like high aerials up close, and they're still like exerting strong pressure. With them, they land up close, they're screwed. Obviously, don't land up close, but then you know where they're going to land and you know how they're going to land. They do. I think they do have probably some of the best coverage, if not the best coverage. But most of the time, they're not going to be killing you off of it unless you're landing, especially when she switches to Pyra. Obviously, you're going to say, or people would say, or top level players will say, well, just keep you in disadvantage forever. That's not happen. It's not too hard to trade with her on your way down. If you're playing like a character with good hitboxes, let's say you don't have good hitboxes in your Joker, in non-Arsene, you have better like you're more evasive in the air than them. It's not going to be too difficult to get past them. It is going to be too difficult because top players are hard to get past, but it's not the character. It's just them. That's going to happen with any top tier they play. Their last trapping is obviously really good. I don't think it's any more deadly than a lot of the other top tiers. I guess the conclusion is that they definitely have a potential to keep you in disadvantage for longer than a lot of other characters. Maybe out of everyone in the entire game, but I think their on shield limits them. Their recovery limits them. And I think Pyra limits them. How killing, like when it comes to killing with them, you like trying to kill at low percent is like hard. You're not gonna get like a low percent kill unless you get a dare read or something ridiculous with Pyra. Most of the time you're killing them at really like higher percents. Getting edge guarded by Pyra is like run off fair. It happens, but if you're paying attention and have your options, you can get out of the way usually. Obviously strong top tier. With that recovery alone, no way in hell number one in the game. With that recovery plus the on shield not being good, Mythra is not gonna juggle you forever realistically. No way they're number one in the game, in my opinion.
I just want to say thank you guys for coming on. I hope you guys, had fun doing this.
I definitely had a blast, yeah.
That was fun. Your foresight argument was dog shit. I don't care.
Ad hominem.
It was dog shit. You know it was dog shit.
Your
Your foresight argument was dog shit. I don't care. That's the one. You had good arguments for the rest. That's the one argument that was dog shit. I don't care. Your foresight argument is terrible.
Thank you.